Okay, so when Greg was born, you...
I was probably working at the plating company.
Okay.
In fact, I know I was because Irene called the plating business, or was I at when I left the plating business, I went to Olympic Stain Products,
Okay.
which was right here in Valley on Leary Way, about, almost straight across from where just about straight across from where the what's the outfit, the Home Depot, or the
On Leary Way?
yeah, right.
There's no Home Depot down there. Fred Meyer?
No, the you know where Nick's auto wrecking was,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
It's right there by
Ernst. You're thinking about Ernst.
14.
Ernst is the hardware store you were thinking of.
Yeah,
Now it's Mars Hill Church.
just about straight across from well, where 14th comes out onto Market.
Okay.
On that side of 14th was Olympic Stain Products, and on the other side was the wrecking yard.
Okay. And that's where you made shingles?
And I think I might have been working there when Greg was born.
Okay. So where were you working, and where were you living then? Were you still in Fremont when you brought Greg home?
No, I lived in I think we lived in Holly Park Project. I think that was, because that was before we bought the house.
Okay. So you had to commute from Holly Park to Ballard?
Huh?
So you had to commute from Holly Park to Ballard?
Yeah,
Did you have a car, or
yeah.
what kind of a car did you have?
Well, the first car we got was a Pontiac. It was one of the last ones made in '42, and the guy that was a buddy of mine bought it. He was in the Merchant Marine, and he bought it in New York. It had been one of the last made before, when the war broke out. And I don't know if I still had that at that time. Oh, because I know I drove back and forth. In fact,
And where was Greg born? Which hospital was he born in?
I was packing, either feeding shakes and making shakes for shakes are shingles that have grooves in them.
Okay.
It makes it look more attractive. And I'm trying to think. I'm almost sure that I was working when at the shingle mill when Greg was born.
Which hospital was he born at?
I was trying to think. Doctors, I think.
Same as Linda?
I don't really remember. But any rate, I wound up making money by for the amount of pieces I turned out. For every bundle that I fed through the machine, I made, I think, 5 or 6 cents a bundle. And I started out feeding the machine first, and then I graduated from that to packing, and then they also had a job where you dip the manufactured bundle into this tank, and the tank is filled with stain, and you put it in, and you have a foot pedal, you push the pedal and it swirls, and it swirls this stain all over, and it goes through and it gets all over you, and you wear like a shirt and a pair of pants that it's stiff as a board. It's like canvas. And,
But it would still get all over your hands.
and you get stain all over your hands, your body, and everything. And when I went for my Social Security, the guy told me, he said, "You must have really made some good top money during your young years." He said, "You made an awful lot of money because you paid maximum into Social Security from day one." It turned out that what it was that I paid the most you could pay in. So I wound up my Social Security was at the very top, because even back before the war, when I was working, I was paying top Social Security, but it wasn't much in the very beginning.
Right.
At any rate, then the Olympic stain was the job after the plating.
Okay.
And
When did you do the CCC?
then after the plating, I was called back in during part of the plating to the Korean
the
War.
Korean War.
And I was gone for a year.
What did you do there?
When
where'd
I
you
came
go?
back, I still got, they had to hire me back at
Because you're a
Olympic State
union.
because of, but they couldn't guarantee money. As to lasting too long. But at any rate, when they got to the point where they were shutting down, and we were only working 1 or 2 days a week at the Olympic State, And I was the president of the local, the union, and so I went to the guy who was our shop steward. He was the uncle of whoever the guy was that was the comptroller at Boeing. So I asked him, and I said, it's pretty bad when the president of the union can only work 2 days a week because of layoffs. And he says, well, I can get you on at Boeing. And I said, okay, please do. And that's when I went to work at Boeing. And I lasted for a while.
Was that when you covered the roof?
Huh?
Was that when you covered the roof at Boeing?
I covered, oh no. When I covered the roof at Boeing was before I went to war in the first place.
Okay.
That would have been in
So you were just a teenager then?
probably 42, late
Okay.
41.
Okay,
Early
so
40s.
you get called back for the Korean War. Where'd you go for that? What did you do?
When I got called back for the Korean War,
Did you have to go back to Fort Lawton to start with, or
no,
where'd you have to report to?
I got shipped to California again. First I went to Fort Lewis, and then I think we went to California, met up with a reserve unit that got called back up. They were all reservists too. I wasn't an active reservist, I was inactive, but they took me anyway. But later I found out that they weren't supposed to take the inactive, they were supposed to take only the active, but the gal that was in charge of call-ups didn't realize that inactive didn't go to meetings and didn't go summer camp and all that stuff. She thought that when they said call up the reserves, that meant
Everybody.
anybody. So at any rate, I wound up going to Korea. But when I got to Korea, the outfit that I reported to said, what the hell are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm like a damn fool stayed in the reserves, and here I am. I said, I was in active reserve. And the guy said, well, you've already had your war. He says, so I'm shipping you back to Japan. So I wound up going up to Hokkaido, which was the top of Japan, and went to a camp where they brought National Guard outfit, a whole division from the Oklahoma National Guard, and it was Oklahoma and another state, and I don't remember who it was, but the two states together had this division, and they brought them over. They had 19, 17, 18, 19-year-old sergeants and lieutenants, 18, 19 years old, that had gone to meetings, done their 3-week stint in the summer and whatever, and they brought them up, and then they told us, you train them and get them ready to go to Korea, because we're going to need them there as soon as we can get them, and we don't know how well trained they are because they're a National Guard unit. So you guys are going to have to act as cadre and help train them some more, find out how much they know.
What's cadre mean?
That's the, like the training group.
Okay.
Cadre is the small group that forms, say, a unit or whatever. They're the beginning of the group.
Okay.
So we had to
You whooped them into shape, huh?
whip them into shape is what we were supposed to be doing, but they were so pig-headed. I mean, you can imagine a kid that's supposed to be the first sergeant of his group,
Thinks he knows everything.
and he's only a young kid, and he doesn't want you telling him what to do. He thinks he knows everything there is to know.
Yeah. Especially when you were only a few years older than him to begin with, so.
And I mean, we explained things to him as best we could. We tried to teach him about the facts of life and in the wartime. And I don't know whether we actually done them any good or not, because I know that I think it was their group that wound up in the Chonjin Reservoir where the United States was getting their butt beat by the North Koreans. But it eventually worked out, I guess. I was glad I didn't have to go.
Yeah. So how long did you stay in Japan?
I was there until, I think I figured I'd put in a year and a month or a year and 2 months.
Wow.
In the Korean during my time over there. Because I think I was back. At any rate, I came home and first thing I said was, no more reserves. Period.
Yeah. So, when you had to go back in for Korea, Irene was home with Linda and Greg, right? Kim wasn't born yet. Kim's not that old.
To be honest with you, I don't remember. I'm sure they were both born, I would think.
Well, yeah, because you said that you were still at the Olympic staying place, so Greg had to have been born. So you came back. When did you do that CCC thing on the boat under Deception Pass?
That was, I think the Three Seas was 1939, if I remember.
So that was before
the World War.
And what did you do with them again?
Huh?
What was that about again?
That was President Roosevelt's New Deal program, putting young kids to work. The group that I was with planted trees. We planted trees up in Skykomish and up on can't think what it was one of the passes.
Deception Pass?
Huh?
Deception Pass?
It wasn't
Oh, you know what? The tape's almost...
Snoqualmie Pass.
Here, we gotta...